Ladies and gentlemen, so today I fought Thing. It's got to be like at least 100 times, and there's a reason for that, and that's because yesterday Voss hit me up, and he's like, hey Seatin, how do you feel about taking your Gwen pool up to rank 5, so that in Alliance War you can kill Thing bosses? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, Voss, I don't really want to rank 5 my Gwen pool. There are a lot of characters that I prefer to rank 5 than Gwen pool, so I've got to figure out some creative ways in my existing roster and champions to absolutely destroy Thing. A lot of my really big damage ramp up champions, like my rank 5 5-star Hyperion, and also Havok to a certain extent, gain a huge damage benefit if I can utilize the heavy attacks. So I was looking for intervals when fighting Thing where I can fire off heavy attacks and not get absolutely ruined. And I found this little timing with his heavy attack, which I'm really surprised because I haven't seen anybody talk about this so far. Somebody might have beat me to this, but again, I did not know about this before today, that it's very, very easy to heavy intercept Thing just by, you know, baiting out his heavy attack, dashing back, and then firing off yours, kind of in the exact same way if you're kind of used to fighting Iron Man Infinity War, that you deal with that matchup. So it's really, really straightforward, and in this video, I'm going to show you some crazy matchups that actually become possible because of this tactic. You can see that Hyperion Killman was so smooth, and because Hyperion's heavy attack has 5 hits, it's actually really, really easy to manage his rock stacks with that, just because, you know, you're going up in kind of multiples of 5, but a Mega Red as well is a champion that does so incredibly well if you can get intervals to throw in a heavy attack, because that degeneration damage is just absolutely mad. So you can see here we're kind of heavy countering, we've got all those stacks of degeneration up, and he's just absolutely getting mullered here. And dude, this made me want a 5-star maxed out Mega Red so much, because I've never seen anybody go for a Thing boss kill with a Mega Red, but judging by how smooth and efficient that kill was, I don't see why a Mega Red couldn't be a really, really good Thing boss killer. I think it's just that people aren't aware that you can actually heavy counter his heavy, or heavy intercept his heavy, whatever you want to call it. I think the official term is heavy intercept. That's what Kabam are trying to push, at least on Captain Marvel, in terms of how they describe this ability. But yeah, one of the things as well is if you go into the monthly event quest in the chapter where Wolverine is the final boss, there's actually a path that has Ghost Rider and Thing kind of back to back, so it's really, really easy to get to a slightly meatier version of Thing that's a 6-star champion and has 50,000 health for a little bit more practice. But he also has the Chaos node, so you see he started Unstoppable there, so that's a little bit of a pain in the ass. But I thought this one was really, really cool because it kind of just shows how you can use this tactic to recover fights as well. So yeah, I really, really like it, man. This has just honestly changed the game and made fighting Thing so much easier for me, because I feel like more and more in the last like year and a bit, there are so many champions that have mechanics. If you can fire off their heavy attack, you can get a huge amount of additional damage output, and you can get the heavy attack intervals via countering Thing's heavy attack, but also via Thing's special too as well. You can get heavy attack after he kind of slams down. But this is also a really, really useful tip, and I wanted to point this out for Spider-Gwen and SheHulk. So if you're kind of maybe a little bit lower than top tier, even in top tier, man, I think if you went balls to the walls and maxed out Spider-Gwen and SheHulk, this would have some very interesting potential, because using the heavy attack counter, you activate Innovate on the opponent with both of these brand new champion buffs, which means that Thing cannot trigger his Unstoppable. So you'll see here he just goes kind of back from 15 to 12 and then converts those into Fury, so it doesn't get rid of all of the stacks, but providing you can keep that Innovate buff up, whenever you drop it, it's just very, very easy to refresh using any heavy attack by heavy countering him here. So we're waiting for that heavy attack, and then as soon as you see that heavy animation being fired off, it really is as simple as you kind of dash back and then just quickly flick your heavy attack exactly the same as you would if you were fighting Iron Man Infinity War. So yeah, if you didn't already know that tactic against Iron Man Infinity War, because it's been on like tons of gameplay videos for the best part of a year now, you can use exactly the same tactic on Thing, and honestly, man, this has just changed the game for me. So I did want to make a feature video today, not only showing you how to use this tactic in various matchups, and I messed up there, man, I just forgot to flick the heavy attack, so some mistakes were made, but also highlighting some champions against Thing where it works really, really well, and Spider-Gwen is one of them, SheHulk is another. because SheHulk has an Innovate, and this one is slightly kind of shorter in terms of duration in comparison to Spider-Gwen's. And I don't think in this matchup I play SheHulk the best, because ideally you want to spam special 1 just to get those Furies up and then just keep on baiting out those special attacks. But it's kind of exactly the same story here, of we just need to heavy counter when he's getting high rock stacks. So I think we're blocking here. We wait for him to kind of lunge forward, throw the heavy attack, quickly dash back, and then we don't have to care about unstoppable while Innovate is active, which is kind of the little, you know, running man icon with the down arrow there. So yeah, it's a really, really good time. And if you're fighting a stunnable thing, you can actually just do this off a parry. So, you know, your standard, like, parry heavy attack. But because I'm looking at fighting unstunnable things as final bosses of Alliance War, that is the reason today that I'm playing, you know, a little bit differently and trying not to rely on parry and just getting those heavy attacks on via the heavy counter. So as soon as I see him lunge for the heavy attack, and that's really the thing that you need to get used to, is just kind of identifying that animation so you can quickly dash back and throw your heavy. And there is a little bit of a time window to do so. You don't need to be super quick. So you can see even in intervals where we are a little bit slower to do this, we can still land it there. And we're playing this matchup a little bit better toward the end. We got 6 stacks of Fury here, so it makes it a little bit easier to get some of things specials, but I think I just dropped a few there, which was a little bit of a pain in the ass. But we're going to heavy counter this one. There we go. So right after the special 2, man, as soon as you dodge that final thing, you can throw a heavy attack, go back in, and absolutely wreck that lad. But yeah, at the end of that one, I just threw a few heavies for a little bit of fun for the BM boys, and it's such a satisfying little tactic. Playing so many characters that rely on their heavy attacks, it's always really nice when I can find like little animation intervals to throw off heavy attacks, because again, they do benefit certain champions so much. And one of those characters, and again, this is one that I haven't seen so far, is Ghost. Ghost benefits so much from the heavy attack because you can get the phasing stuff, and here we get a very nice special 2. So 9 hits on this 4-star Ghost man, and this thing is down 50% already. We've absolutely whacked into him, although I did make a little bit of a mistake here, because guys, I'm not the best Ghost player in the world. I'm still a little bit of a rookie when it comes to this character, but just imagine right now, like, I'm a really sick player and I actually get this special 2 off, like, this thing would have just dropped dead, but I didn't, and very luckily he didn't instantly retaliate into me. But again, a better Ghost player than myself would not have made that mistake of throwing a special 2 into absolutely nothing and would have won the fight right now. But using the heavy attack and heavy counter or heavy intercept on Ghost does allow you to generate those Furies, and that's going to ramp up the damage quite significantly off the special 2. Granted, thing does have, you know, a bit of a damage cap, so you're not going to gain any like crazy special 2s, but it's a very nice little thing to know to kind of boost the damage up a little bit for Ghost here, and just make a very easy matchup. As you can see so far, we have had tremendous success with a lot of the Beyond God tier champions, Hyperion, Omega, Ghost, all making light work of the thing here. But one more champion I wanted to try, because I've heard through the grapevine that Havok is very good for fighting thing final bosses in Alliance War, just because of the sheer amount of damage with the special 3 combined with like a mutant power booster. Just makes for a really insane time. But also, one of the things about Havok is if you can get 10 plasma charges on the opponent, he actually has a really lethal heavy attack that deals energy damage twice per second. And if you've got, again, 10 of these, man, it's going to be really nasty and really accelerate his damage output a fair bit. So what I've tried to do in this matchup is get him basically as many plasma charges on thing as possible, and then throw in some heavy attacks to start countering and applying the buff, which deals shock damage. So you're going to see that in a second. We go for just a bit of a bait out there. I think I was a little bit too scared to counter that one, but we get heavy counter on that one. Place the feedback on him, and you can see his health is really starting to tick down now. But when it does come to Havok, the massive damage is all associated with that special 3, that ultimate. There is just so much to it, man. So you're going to see as soon as we fire off that special 3, it's going to be a fair bit of overkill. But even at 5 stacks of plasma charge, it's, you know, taking him down a fair bit. So if we can balance that around kind of 8 to 10 on on a Thing final boss, and if we have Havok awakened at rank 5, I reckon he's going to be a really, really viable boss killer. And if you're one of those absolutely sick players that has been taking down Thing final bosses in Alliance War with Havok, please do get in contact and send me some gameplay, because yeah, I'd really, really like to see it, especially if you weren't already aware of the heavy intercept, and could show me some of the heavy intercept on Thing final bosses, because I'd be very, very curious to see it. And here we have a bit of Captain America Infinity War. Now, Cap Infinity War, I wouldn't say is the absolute best option for this thing. He's alright, man. He works fairly decently, and I think as a fully maxed out Cap, like, you would have the potential with boost to kill a Thing final boss. I just kind of found in my testing, I kind of just preferred like Hyperion, Omega Red, Havok, and Ghost a little bit more to Captain America Infinity War. Plus, Thing also has kind of the ability where Cap Infinity War's Nullify Unstoppable doesn't nullify his Unstoppable because he's immune to Nullify. So yeah, that's a little bit of a weird one there, which kind of further reduces the utility of Cap a little bit there. And then his damage output is just a little bit inferior to some of the other god tier champions, but he still puts in some decent work. However, one of the things you need to bear in mind with this heavy intercept is it can't be done against a wall. So if you're really, really close to the wall, you might be able to do it if you can pull off a double dash back. But I just, in my experience, if I was right next to the wall, I could never pull off the counter because his like heavy attack has a component of like 3 different hits. It has like 2 quick hits and then 1 final one. So it's the second hit that kind of gets you if you're right against the wall. Whereas if you've got a little bit of space, as you can see, you know, he just kind of throws a punch into like midair because it's like an uppercut punch and then he slams down. So providing, you know, you have a little bit of space, this is perfectly safe to do. But if you're right against the wall, it is a bit of a risky one to pull off. However, Doc Ock, man, was putting in so much work in this one. I was bloody impressed, mate. Like, Doc Ock actually has such a hard-hitting heavy that deals a lot of additional energy damage. So yeah, just absolutely mops up this lad, man. Really, really good time. And we mess up a little bit toward the end here. I think we end up getting directly hit, but there we go. He throws in our heavy. We go for a special 2 to counter that, and we get him down. So anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. Smash that like button if you did enjoy it and learn something new. Share it with your alliance. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.